Good afternoon. My name is David Huffman Jr. I will be instructing a golfer this afternoon by the name of Dave Huffman Sr. is my father. We're going to start today's lesson with pitch shots from about 40 yards. He has a little bit of a problem with this type of shot with mishits, thin and heavy. He tends to get the shaft a little too steep and he tends to use his hands a little too much. We will start off by trying to improve the shaft angle through impact and takeaway, and then from there we will work on trying to quiet his hands through impact to make the shot more consistent as far as distance control. All right, Ed, so what you should be feeling underneath this rod is, underneath these rods, is trying to flatten your swing out so the club travels more along the ground. You're chipping off of zoysia grass, and zoysia grass is kind of spiky and the ball kind of sits up high on it. So it's actually really kind of an ideal situation to kind of sweep the ball off this surface as opposed to hitting down on it because you have such a good lie. So try to feel like you're flattening out the swing. This purple rod here is just trying to give you an idea of which direction we're hitting the shot. Okay, now the nick of this rod should be an indication instantly that you're coming up and over too quick as opposed to staying underneath longer. So you hit the rod right here, so that means your club came up and hit as opposed to staying along the ground. So that should give you a great indication of what your plane is on these chip shots. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Now, I made a mention about trying to take some wrist out of the shot.
Yeah.
What's happening on your takeaway is you take your club away with really a lot of your hands, and your club is about like this with your wrists on these chip shots.
I can feel it.
Yeah, it's really sharp. Now, ideally, that would be really good like out of a bunker or out of a thick lie out of the rough, and you would be able to generate a lot of spin because of that wrist angle that you're going to have and hold. But on a shot like this, you would make really good contact and more consistent contact if you didn't have that sharp of an angle. And also, you'll just make the correct amount of spin with just the grooves by hitting it solid. So when you take the club back, we should have this right wrist maybe a little bit more flat like this, as opposed to really close to the end of your body. So go ahead and set up again. So take the club back to where you think you should take the club back to. Good, and you can see how sharp that angle is there. I would like to see it more like this. Okay, so you should feel like you're extended away a little bit more, and a little bit wider of a swing. Your back okay?
Yeah, it's my neck.
Okay.
Today is my neck.
Excellent. That was perfect. Now the contact there, if we can replicate that takeaway, your contact will be the same and the club's going to travel more along the ground as opposed to into it. I think that you have that such a steep angle, and that's why you spin so many good pitch shots so hard, is because of that hard angle, but it also makes you lose some consistency. Kind of the old takeaway there. Take the club back and hold it. Like that. You can feel that extension.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure can.
Okay, as opposed to being really jammed up and stuck inside. There you go. Perfect. So when you get your arms away from your body, you have a chance to let them kind of swing freely as opposed to steep and chunky.
Swing freely.
Well, when you get your arms going, when your arms extend back, you can swing free. When you get them really jammed up, you're just going to throw your hands at the ball.
Okay.
So if you could imagine when I said that you have that little bit of wrist flip, when you take the club back and your arms go back like this, the club's just going to freely go down and through.
I see.
When you take the club back and your normal takeaways like this, you're really close to your body, and the only thing that's moving are your hands.
Okay.
So that's why I said it'll take away a lot of your hands out of the shot.
Is that like casting, or is that something in the form of casting? I mean, just
What you're doing?
Yeah.
No, what you're doing is you're creating a very steep angle of attack.
Yeah.
And you're setting your hands really quick. You would see that a lot, like I said, out of bunkers or out of thick rough. You wouldn't really need to make that sharp of a hinge and hold out of a fairway lie like this.
Okay.
You would need the club to more travel back with your arms, not a lot of wrist and hinge, back through with your arms, no wrist movement through the shot. So you would have a more consistent swing with your arms. Now, if you notice, you're not generating the amount of spin that you were originally,
Right.
but that's, you don't have to generate that much spin from a lie like this because it's so good. Now, you're chipping with a 54-degree wedge, right?
Right.
And that club is something you would normally chip with from here.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Okay.
It would be between this one and 60 degrees.
So sometimes you would hit the 60?
Sometimes.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and hit a couple 154s and we'll switch to the 60. How do you feel like you're doing?
I feel, well, those shots I hit, I feel like they were exactly the ways you want to hit.
Yeah.
And then there's times where I still feel like I got a little tiny slip in it.
Yep. And that's just because on the takeaway, you still kind of set your hands really quick. So just remember, you want the hands to go back and the hands to come through, and you're not going to be as sharp with that wrist. But that's a habit that you'll just have to get out of. It'll take a little bit of work to get out of that habit.
I like that one.
Contact is good. Just didn't hit it 40 yards. Contact is good again. Just didn't make that 40-yard swing.
I'll make a 40-yard swing here. I
Right.
feel a little more comfortable with it.
Good. All right, so last ball with the 54-degree wedge.
It almost went off to the right. And I do that at times when I'm really not making the pass that you're asking me to make.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit of a lack of speed through the ball.
Yeah.
It looks like you're just, but that's okay when you're trying to change something.
Okay.
You might be a little hesitant to try to make that 40-yard swing. You're just focusing on the movement that I've asked you to make. So then the distance goes out the window. Good. There's a lot of hands on that one.
Yep, I felt it. I can feel it. Back to my old,
Have you ever been able to hit chip shots or pitches with just one arm?
I've never tried.
Okay. So if you tried it with just your left arm and you went back
Yeah.
and through with just your left arm,
Yeah.
this would help you remove some of the angle in this wrist.
Okay.
So you would go back and through pitching it 40 yards. And it'll allow you to get your hands to go back and through to the target and hitting good contact, but also keeping that angle the same.
Okay.
And when you keep that angle the same, you're going to notice a very consistent shot. You're not going to notice that little high right shot that you were just speaking of because of the hands. John Daly actually uses this a lot to warm up with because he has such a long handsy swing. He'll use this to try and get his tempo going better, but also to try and eliminate some of his hands. Here, let's switch clubs because doing that with a 60 would be difficult.
Yeah. It works.
54 degrees is a little bit reasonable. Okay. How's that wrist movement feel through impact now?
My wrist feels extremely weak.
Okay. That's good. Take your grip and make it a little stronger for me. There you go. Very good. Like that. There you go. Now look at your follow through here.
Yeah.
Your arm is extended away from your body and your hand is up in the air, kind of flat. It's not low in all hands.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for on the extension of the shot. Okay, good follow through. All right, now I want you to put your right hand on the club, but almost pretend that it's not even on the club.
Okay.
Just focus on your left hand going back and your left hand going through, and your right hand just kind of on there for the ride. That was at the golf ball, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's a little unorthodox for me.
What's that?
I mean, just doing this, it just kind of feels,
Totally new?
yep.
Excellent. Good contact. Okay. We're going to make another change here. I'm going to remove the green rods, okay?
Right.
You've got the idea of the plane there about how you want to stand underneath these green rods, okay?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand you one of these rods, and you're going to run it up your left-hand side of your body. Okay, and you're going to take your grip. You notice that the green rod is running behind that. And you're going to go back and through, keeping the green rod away from your body. This is a 40-yard pitch shot where you go back and through, keeping the rod away from your body. Now, once again, doing this with a 60 degree, it's kind of hard to do that, but 54 degrees is very reasonable to do. Now, the really interesting part is if you struggle with like flipping your hands on full swings, this will help you with your impact position on full swings when you go back and through, because you want your hands to be in front of the golf ball. A little wide there?
A little wide. I used to try to practice this drill before, a long time ago, but I couldn't get it up there.
Like I said, that rod should not touch your side on this shot.
Okay.
You should try to keep this angle when you go through. This left wrist is flat, going through the target. You've rotated your body, not your arms. So you've rotated with your body, and the rod stays away from my body.
Hard to do.
That's, like I said, it shouldn't be once you get used to.
My body's wider than the length of my arm.
How was that one?
That one felt pretty good.
Good.
Everything feels kind of awkward.
Let's take a couple slow motion swings to try and ingrain
The only way I could get this thing out there is to put it way out in front of me, isn't it?
No.
I can't get it off the side.
Well, it can sit on your side at first.
Okay.
But when you swing back and swing through, your handle of the club should be leaning in front of the hand,
Okay.
the club head.
Yeah.
So from there, you're rotating your upper body, and if you notice, my upper body is rotating, and my hands are staying in front of the shot. Okay, so let's take a couple practice swings real quick. Take the club back to where you would hit this 40-yard pitch shot. Hold it. Okay. Now when you start your downswing, it's going this way, and your chest and everything start to rotate. Very good. And then if you notice, your hands are extended like that. Okay. Rehearse that again for me. Keep going to a finish position. Okay. Very good.
It's hard for me to extend right now.
I understand. You can feel that though?
Yep.
All right, have one more with the rod, and then we're going to remove the rod and see if we improve that position without the rods. All right, now we'll just toss that rod down on the ground. Excellent contact.
That felt really good.
Excellent contact.
That's the kind of contact I like to have.
Another good one. All right. Looks like we're making progress. Now when you kind of flip.
Just a little. I felt it.
Okay, so you have to remember that extension with the left hand through impact, back and through. is very important to keeping that shot to go on weak and to the right.
Okay.
So if you stop and flip, that club face is going to open up and you're going to hit that kind of weak and to the right. But if you take and follow through with your left hand and get it and keep it in front, you're going to square the club face up and keep that club face from adding loft,
Okay.
which is, you don't need to add loft on this shot. There you go. Another good one. 2 more.
Okay.
That one's good too.
That one's not good.
Yep. The ball struck, the contact there, your club head hit the ground about an inch in front of the ball, which was perfect. So you made ball first contact and then struck the ground, which was really good. Very good. And if you can tell the good shots from the bad ones because of trajectory. When they're hit solid, they tend to stay about maybe a flag stick height or maybe another flag stick tall.
Yep.
But if you start getting it up to where it's up into the trees, that's too high on this type of pitch shot for sure. Okay. Do you have any questions about what we just did on this shot?
I just need to get back to doing it. I mean, you know, years ago I practiced some of this stuff here, especially with the rod section. I just couldn't get the hang of it. But you know, I do understand what why we have to do this.
Yeah. Anything specific that I just showed you really stick out in your mind that you're going to use to really improve this type of shot?
Yeah, to keep my hands solid, a little bit more,
And
a lot more solid.
What did I give you today to maybe work on that really help you with that?
What you give,
Yeah,
give them?
what drill
I think I
or
thought,
tip?
Well, the drills are good, but holding the shaft has got me set in a really awkward position. So maybe if I could maybe stick a T or something in the back of my club, would that
That wouldn't help. The reason being it wouldn't is because if you put a T in the back of the club like this,
Yeah.
that's not really going to keep you from flipping.
I got you.
The alignment rod keeps you from flipping.
I got
Now, if you struggle with that, hitting shots with just one arm will help you.
Well, then
So you don't have to have a alignment rod.
I do need to get used to that
Yeah.
because my wrist got really extremely weak.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't feel that way.
No, and
If
like I
you're
said,
hitting it right,
you
then
should
you're
be going
right.
back and through hitting it with your arm and your rotation.
Mhm.
You're not hitting it with your wrist.
Well, but I think what now this is just me. You can correct me, but I feel like the wrist is weak because I flip it so much.
Yeah, because you're not used to keeping it firm.
Firm,
If you
that's
mean
right.
weak as in like not the strength, but the firmness that you keep the wrist.
I think
Okay.
that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
say.
that would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, that hitting balls with just one hand would obviously strengthen up and keeping this flat.
Okay.
You wouldn't hit shots like this because you're a better player and you know not to do that.
Would possibly starting out at a shorter distance and working my way back to this?
Without a doubt.
Okay,
Without a
yeah.
doubt. That's a great example. Okay, so we're going to flip around and head to a different type of pitch shot.
Okay.
A little bit more of a lofted pitch shot. That's okay. We're continuing with the pitch shots theme here. We're now going to turn around and face a different target green where we have a little bit more of a lofted pitch shot where we have to lift the ball up over a hill, land it softly on the green and roll it down to the flag. The funny thing about that is this is a very difficult shot and not something easy to do, which is something that my dad has been struggling with on these type of shots. We're going to hope to keep that impact position that we just taught on the flat pitch shot to this uphill, then downhill lofted pitch shot. Okay.
That felt pretty good, and it felt like it still got a little, it gotten a little spin to it.
And I set up the purple noodle there on that wedge green right there is because ideally, if we were trying to make it or get it really close to the hole, that's where we want to land it.
Okay.
This green is downhill and breaking right to left.
Okay. Bounced into it before I hit the ball.
And your ball position here should just be in the middle. I like that contact there.
I did too.
If you notice, looks about 10 foot past the hole.
Yeah, it seemed to check.
There you go. That was the best one. There was almost no wrist hinge on that one. Very well done.
That felt pretty good. It appears I might take a little right of that. Look probably right over that noodle.
Yep. There you go. Excellent. Go in. Great shot. There you go. Another good one. How you get it?
I felt it just so slight. I felt it.
Okay.
That was kind of a pull there. That I think, does that come from like trying to wrap it around me instead of finishing down the line?
I would say it's got to do with your wrist flip more than anything, and that's the
Okay.
club face got to be closing when
Yeah.
you flip, or
Right, I
you could do many different things when you flip the club.
Okay.
But obviously, if you flip, try to keep it from going right, your toe will turn over, and you'll hit it off the toe of the club.
Would it help to pick a target out just slightly, like in front of my ball, to like emulate the club face going over, keeping the wrist?
I would think more than anything to think about your hands.
Okay.
You know, they call this a pitch shot for many reasons, but it's as simple as this. It's because you're pitching the ball to the hole. So if you can imagine going back and through and pitching the ball to the hole
Yeah.
with your hands, back and through, and then you take a club and do that same motion, back and through,
Okay.
because that's what we're doing. We're pitching the golf ball, and we want to make that movement with our hands. It's not so much with the club head, it's trying to focus on your hands going back and through, but what happens with you is your club head goes through and your hands don't. Hands move, hands move.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it
So
does.
I'm trying to get you out of the flipping motion of your wrists by going back and through with your chest and your arms and your hands, as opposed to just the club head going back and through, which is very
Well, I think I agree.
wrist.
I may feel it's not really an excuse or a reason, but it could be more of a reason than an excuse, I think. Is I'm actually left-handed and throwing a ball, so to take the ball left-handed and pitch it up there with no wrist action is probably a really simple thing for me to do left-handed.
Yep.
But doing it right-handed would probably feel like it. So I would have something. I would have to work on that
Yeah.
to keep that, to keep that stiff. But I think that throwing that ball could help.
Yeah, and like I said, that's just a visualization.
Yeah.
Every time
but
you know,
gotta get a
lot
feel.
of a lot of tour players, when they're standing there, they'll actually go back and through with their hands, trying to just figure out, all right, how hard do I need to pitch this ball
Yeah.
with my hands and my tempo,
Mhm.
you know, going back and through. So that'll give you a visualization. If you maybe do that before you hit a shot,
Yeah.
stand over it with your hands and just get your right hand, go back and through, envisioning that you're pitching it, and then go ahead and back and pitch it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move forward about 4 feet here and
Okay.
get into the rough.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing that changes on this shot is the ball should come off a little higher because the ball's sitting higher in the air. So you
Okay.
should be able to lift it a little higher, but it's going to have less spin. So when that extra height will create some stoppage.
Okay.
So you won't be able to spin it as much, but you should be able to try to get it to stop with the height.
So
that
you
you'll
trade
get
not
out.
to spin for the height.
Right.
Okay.
And because this ball's up in the air about another inch, and you can see how much higher that ball went as opposed to the others. And it's the same tempo, same shot. One thing that's changing here is you're not going to be able to make the best contact like you were making from the fairway shot.
Okay.
That one would be the flip.
Okay.
Not letting your hands get through the shot and get through the ball. Good contact, good height.
That ball seems to be jumping off a little quicker.
Well, if you wrist flip, you're going to add loft.
I flipped the wrist there.
Yeah, you're going to add loft, and the ball's going to come off soft, and it's going to come off. It could come off with more spin if you flip it right. But if you just use your arms and your chest to rotate back and rotate through, you're going to hit the ball with the club with the right amount of loft. Okay? You're not going to be influencing the loft and the club with your hands. It's going to stay very consistent back and through with your hands and your chest. That would be a little bit of this flip stick. How do you feel like this shot's going?
Well, this is going to need some work, but I think it's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Now, obviously, let's say we're playing a round of golf, okay, and we're in a tournament, which you do play in quite a few tournaments, I know.
Yeah.
When you get this shot, there should be some objectives, some goals. Obviously, the number one goal is to get it on the green.
Yeah, well,
right?
My number one goal is not to shank it at this point. I've had that.
Well, good luck getting it on the green with that spot.
Yeah.
But
well, that's what I've been fighting.
Our objective is to make sure that we get the ball on the green.
Right.
Number one goal, because if we get it on the green, we're gonna take double and triple bogeys out of the way.
That's right.
If we get the ball on the green. Now, the second goal would be then to try to hit it with the correct distance. And then kind of combine some accuracy. Accuracy is a little bit easier for you, better player. You know how to set up and aim, but getting the distance control. The distance control comes from landing the ball in consistently the same spot, knowing that you know how to hit it on that edge of the green or to the middle of the green or to the back side of the green. So you have to practice this shot. If you only have one target, set up landing targets.
Yeah.
And set up a landing target on the front of the green, in the middle of the green, on the back of the green, and the balls have to land around that landing area.
Right.
And then that's how you become more efficient and a much better pitcher and chipper of the golf ball, with getting the ball to land consistently in your spots.
Okay.
And it would be really difficult if you did that, maybe land 5 on the front, 5 in the middle, and 5 on the back. And when you do that, then go front, middle, back, and then go back, middle, front.
Gotcha.
So that way you're consistently moving around your distance, and that way you're going to enhance and grow your chipping and pitching skills and distance control.
Yeah, I wouldn't be programming myself one way.
Right.
Gotcha.
You would not get used to just hitting the ball on the back part of the green every time.
Okay.
Now, I know that's a lot of practice, and I know that your body sometimes won't let you do that, but this is something that obviously you can come down here and relax and take your time in doing. That would be the bad one.
Yep.
Very good. All right, and
I
if
tell you what, that feels great to be able to hit that first one and then turn around and hit the second one.
well, and like I said, if you get just your body and your arms synced up and moving better, you'll never hit shots like that.
Okay.
The wrist flip and the kind of the twitchy movement that you have on that shot will cause that sometimes.
It's been
I do want to point out one thing to you though. I set up this purple rod in front of this purple noodle, and we're trying to hit it towards that. And if you look at those golf balls, we have maybe 5 of them to the right of the hole.
That's correct.
And about 20 to 25 of them left of the hole.
Yeah.
So that's actually the better spot to be. And do you know why?
For putting purposes, yeah.
Good. Yes. So your putt there is going to be uphill and straighter, as opposed to when you miss it a little to the right. So I didn't set the noodle extremely to the right, because ideally, if we're going to get up and down, we're going to make a 5-footer coming straight up the hill. That's right. Which is what we were looking for. If you look over here to the right, you do not want to be putting down that slope. So you don't want to tinker with it too much, especially on a shot like this. This is how you lower your scores and keep your scores more consistent, by not trying to gamble on this type of shot. That's right. This is not a shot you would gamble.
And that would be my thought when I would be here anyway. It would be to give myself the best opportunity for par. And that would be just me. I don't know what others do.
Not bad, not bad. Okay,
Just
so
a little more.
let's hit these last 3, and we'll be done with this shot. And we'll walk up on the green and analyze the shots that you have up on the green. Great contact. Just didn't hit hard enough.
Right.
Have you ever heard of a player named Justin Thomas?
Of course.
A very big name local player here from the state of Kentucky, Louisville actually, where we're from. And he has an idea every time when he is hitting a shot into a green, anytime he hits a chip or a pitch or a wedge shot, or even when he hits a putt, that he tries to get the shot inside of a triangle. And the triangle is on certain sides of the hole. Have you ever heard of anything like this?
No, I haven't. This is
Okay.
new.
This triangle here is to try and get the ball inside this triangle where we have a straight uphill putt. Not a lot of break, okay? And we can be fairly aggressive with it because it's uphill. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this triangle here has to be kind of thought out. You have to know the greens, obviously. You have to know the complexes. And most of the golf courses you've played, you know most of them. But if you can get a putt, ideally, it would be somewhere within these two green rods. You can see how this is kind of uphill and straight.
Yeah.
The good thing about all these chip shots that you hit, the majority of them are very close to this triangle, right? So you're giving yourself a very simple putt after those pitch shots, getting them up and on the green, giving yourself a good chance. So that was probably the best thing you did about all those pitch shots. Even though, you know, you may not have executed all of them exactly the way we wanted to,
Right.
the majority is ideal. You have left yourself in an ideal spot to get up and down from that very difficult pitch shot, up and over the hill, coming down the hill. So that's well done, and you're probably going to get most of these up and down. I would say, and when I say most, I'm going to say 50% or more,
Yeah.
which is excellent. Okay, Dad, so what I have set up here is a 60-yard shot, okay? And what we're going to try to get out of this is, once again, trying to stay on plane underneath this rod because you tend to get a little too steep and hit this rod. We want to make sure that we stay underneath this rod, sweeping the ball off this surface as opposed to hitting severely down on it like you have been.
Okay.
And I use the term sweeping because you tend to get really steep and stick the club in the ground. So we want the club to kind of travel more along the ground. And same concept, on the takeaway we want less wrist, and on the follow through we want less wrist. Okay? We want to try and do those two things if we can. Excellent. Shot right there was hit really good. It almost hit the target. It's about a foot past it. And once again, I have the purple noodle set up. Once again, it's 60 yards away.
And that shot right there, that's what I've been doing quite a bit of.
A pool?
Pull way left.
Okay.
Way left.
All right. It's okay to have an open stance on these type of shots, as long as you're extending to the target. It's
Okay.
okay to have it slightly open. It looks like you might have it a little too much open,
Okay.
so let's close it down soon.
Yeah, that.
Yep. And to me,
And I feel like that's sometimes my stance. But
to me, the reason that you're also hitting it that far left is because of how steep you're coming into the golf ball.
okay.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to video your swing with my device, okay? I'm going to show you your swing on my device.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to look at, I'm going to show you how steep your swing actually is with this wedge shot. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
And what I have here is just a new iPhone with a really good camera on it. And I'll use the app, it's called V1 Golf.
Okay.
And V1 Golf is a really good app, and it's going to help me freeze your swing all the way through it and really slow it down so we can see all the moving pieces to your swing. Left again, right? So it's
Exactly.
going to be a great example here on this shot. So what we're going to look at here on this swing is it's a little dark, but you can still see everything moving. Is look at the shaft angle there at the top of the swing.
Yep.
It is literally straight up and down. So that's what I mean by the shaft angle being too steep. So that's why I have this rod here, and you probably feel a little goofy trying to get underneath it. So watch your downswing. Straight up and straight down.
Sure is.
So that's going to cause a big pull. Okay? Now if this was like let's say it was a 5-iron, your shot would be a pull cut,
That's what I've been hitting.
right?
Yeah.
Because the shaft angle is very steep. You're going to come cut across it, and better players are going to try and keep the club face open to the target. So you're going to hit a pull, and the ball is going to slice back to the right because of that shaft angle.
Filming over.
And contact's not really what we're in the matter of, but what we can see is
It goes right back up to that.
Mhm.
Okay.
and you can see how steep it is still.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we'll challenge you to do.
We may be able to get to this point, get to what you're about to do, or we may not because of my neck. So.
All right, so I want you to think back to lesson 1 where me and you were up there hitting golf balls and we
That's
were
right.
hitting 8 irons and things like that. What did we work on?
Getting the club flat, kind of flatter behind me, not so much upright. Getting it behind my right shoulder, getting my hand more
Right.
flatter at the top.
Right, and that's been about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
How much have you thought about that move?
Well, I've been working. I've played several times, and I tried to work on that, but I wasn't real successful on the golf course. It needs to be done on the range, and I didn't do that.
Okay. Well, I know that you have some physical ailments that keep you
Yeah,
from practicing as much as you like.
That's right.
But rehearsals are just as important, okay? Once again, taking this up your left side, okay? Rehearsals are so important because they're going to ingrain the movement. And if you think about it, even though you're not hitting the actual golf balls, if you're sitting at home and you have time to do this, this is going to be a big help. If you take a golf ball and throw it down on the ground, okay, like if this one is,
Yeah.
all right, I want you to take the club back to the position at the top of the swing on this pitch shot that you think you should have it. Excellent. So you can see that this shaft angle here is tilted back behind you,
Yeah.
and this angle right here is pointed down where the ball would be. Okay, so if I took this golf ball and I extended it straight back a few golf balls, like that, when you get to the top of the swing, this should be pointed as if those golf balls are still going back in it. Yes, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
So the question is, can you physically do this because of the ailments?
Yeah.
So what we have to try to do here, once again, if I take this alignment rod and stick it in the ground back here, the idea is for you to stay underneath that alignment rod and sweep the ball off the ground. So when I say sweep, I want you to try and envision that the plane is very flat than what you're used to.
Yeah.
And you're staying underneath that plane, very low, okay? Because you're so up and down. And you can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't feel it all the time. There's times I can feel it, but I can see it when the club comes back into the ball.
That was very close, Dad. Very close. Landed it on the yardage.
Yeah.
That was exactly 60 yards.
It felt pretty good. You feel like I'm struggling to keep it flat.
Get one more. We're going to do another little drill here that will help us with the pull. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Another really well struck shot. Okay, I'm going to take the club away from you. We're going to do a little bit of a drill here now with this weighted medicine ball. It has straps on it. So that way you can put your hands in it like this and actually hold the medicine ball.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take a stance like we're going to hit the ball. And we're going to go back, extend our arms away from our body. Now you're going to feel a pull here in your left shoulder, and I know that you have some shoulder issues. I want to see if you can physically do this. This medicine ball is 4 pounds. So when you take the club ball back, it should be an extension through, but when you come through, once again, extending it to the target. So you can see that my chest and arms are extended to the target. You should be able to do this just as well. Have you ever done anything like this before?
No,
Okay.
but I can tell you that I do have problems with my right shoulder, not the left.
The extension and the weight of the medicine ball does a few things. First, it's going to help you feel that extension and turn, right? But it's also going to help you with your weight shift. Because this ball is 4 pounds, it's going to help you shift your weight from your right to your left as well.
Okay.
Good. And then through towards me. Good. So that extension there. All right, now you probably feel like that's a strain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to add one piece to this swing. Go ahead and set back up, take the club to the top. All right, now when you come through, I want the front of your back foot to face me. The front, the top of your foot to face me.
Of my back.
Right.
Okay.
Does that feel like it's a less of a strain?
That feel like it gives me more freedom.
Okay, so let's try that again. Let me move this out of the way. Now I want you to take this out. We're going to toss this ball now, okay? We're going to go back and through, and you're going to toss me the ball. Okay? I'm going to stand a few feet in front of you. And then I want you to focus on that foot coming through and facing me. Okay, good. So the front of that foot's facing me. I'll do the same thing, demonstrate it for you. Back and through. You notice my lower body has completely rotated and faced you. That allows me less strain and more accuracy when you pitch it. Okay?
Okay.
This is an exercise that you could do at a gym. You take a medicine ball and you could throw it into a wall. You could bounce it into the wall. Obviously, if you're bouncing it off the wall to the right or to the left, that's a push and a pull.
Okay.
So if you can accurately toss this ball back and through to the person or the wall in front of you, this would be a great help as far as getting that lower body moving and also getting your arms extending back and extending through.
Well, I do not feel like my lower body's been moving much at all.
It hadn't been. And on the pitch shots, that's okay. But when we get into this type of shot, when we start to swing the club a little bit further and a little bit further, we obviously want the lower body to start to finish and get facing our target. Okay? Does that feel like that may have helped us?
That one there does feel, gives me
Let's see if we can put to work what we're trying to do there with that lower body movement and extension of the arms. How'd that feel?
that felt contact really good. I did pull it a little bit. I felt like I was late on the lower body.
Okay. By the way, that pull was about 5 yards left on a 60-yard shot. Okay, good.
That one was right at target, a little weak, but it was more of a guided. Late, real late.
And I'm going to say that has to do with the position at the top of the swing, the club getting laid onto your shoulder almost.
Okay.
Okay, so
I
let's
gotta
rehearse
flatten
this
it out.
again. Remember we talked
Yep.
about extension. So
Gotta get it.
take the club back to the top of the swing for you. Okay, we want that extension there, club away from our body as much as we can. Okay, I know that's a strain on some of your parts of your body, but we got to get it extended as far as we can. Good try, good try.
Good contact where he left.
Yep, good try there.
Much better, a little right. Felt good.
Alright, so now instead of you just kind of getting used to hitting these shots, now I want you to come back and put it into your routine and see if you can improve the accuracy.
You got to look over top of him. Dug real deep on that one.
Go through the routine again. Because you have to put it into a routine for it to work on a golf course. You can't just stand there and hit golf ball after golf ball and expect it to work on a golf course. Excellent, excellent. Well done.
Wasn't too bad. A little right. But I think we can straighten it up with this shot here.
All right. Look at your right foot.
Yeah, we got it stuck here instead of here.
So in order to get that release and everything going towards your target, that right foot, just focus on that right foot for accuracy.
Okay.
It'll help you rotate your lower body more
Okay.
and get through so that your arms and everything can go to the target. Whereas if your right foot just barely raises up, everything's going to swing left and that's going to be a pull. So if you finish like this, That's left. Everything's going left.
Yeah, give it one more try. Then. I think I can do this.
Hit it. Ooh, good shot.
Very good.
Okay, so that's what I mean by trying to improve your accuracy by incorporating your lower body.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the stress on your lower body. If you physically can do this, that's going to take away a lot of stress on your lower back and things like that. Because if you finish like this, your lower back is going to be extremely tight. If you're fully rotated, facing the target with your chest,
Yep.
and this is hanging back like this, it's going to put a lot of strain back there. So if you turn it and face this way, that's really what you're looking to do.
Okay.
And that'll release the lower body, so that everything you got to go to the target.
I've gotten myself in a lot of bad habits.
Yeah, and like I said, that foot, if you just focus on the front top part of your foot facing the target, that's going to help you. I know it sounds silly, but you know it's just like a pitcher throwing a ball. You know, when he steps and throws, that everything is facing that way.
Yeah.
Where you don't see a pitcher throw and the foot's like this,
Right.
because there's lack of power and lack of accuracy.
That's one I hit.
All right, so we're gaining on it, right?
Yep.
All right. So what do you feel like I've given you so far just on this, I would call this a full swing, just a soft wedge?
Well, first of all, I think that you're going to give me an opportunity to gain a little bit flexibility back, simply because I think I've been checking everything, stopping everything prematurely. And I think with the body turn and such, it's pretty minimal stress on the body. So I think with a little work, a little conscientious work, then I'll get that turn back.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about like hitting the ball further or anything. I just like to hit it more, a lot more accurate.
Yeah.
And that's and I've been losing all that. And I think that all this here puts me back into shape to get control of the golf club again.
And I tell people all the time, if you are able to execute the right positions in your golf swing,
Yeah.
with today's equipment, the ball will go plenty far.
Yeah.
It may go further than when you started playing,
Yeah.
because of the equipment and the golf ball, and then just the pure, getting the right technique is going to allow you to maximize your distance and control. You should be able to hit a driver 250 with today's equipment with the right technique, and with your strength, you'll be able to hit further than that. You already know that.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say 250 would be really short.
getting consistent with these wedges and irons is going to be really important for you. You have to get the club flatter,
Yeah.
and extend it away from your body, and you have to make sure that you extend to the target and get your lower body facing the target to allow that club to extend and get your maximum swing through power that extension. Right?
Yeah.
Any questions for me about what we just worked on with this shot?
Not really questions yet. I'm going to have to kind of implement everything and then get it working for me, and then I will have some questions for you.
Okay.
Because I do know that in order to kind of hone your skills, you have to have a second set of eyes to make sure that you're doing it properly. But I've gotten over the years myself in some bad habits, and so I got to know that you got me back into the good habits and make sure that I'm executing.
Sure.
So, but yeah, once I start practicing, I will have. Right now, there's not much for me to ask because I'm still in that mode of hitting in pure shots.
Is there anything that we have done today with a wedge that you haven't seen or done before, or is there anything is there something else that you would like to learn with a wedge before we go today?
That's a good question. I wouldn't be able to process that right now. I've been hitting shots so bad that it's almost like getting back to the basics of what I need to know.
Sure.
And I think that as time goes, I'm going to have a lot of things to ask.
Would you think?
But right now today, I feel like that I've got a new open book.
Would you think that since you've been playing golf for so long and you are an advanced golfer and you carry a handicap of about a 6 to an 8, would you think that sometimes you make the shots too difficult and too complex?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I'm hoping with these instructions, what you've got out of these lessons the past couple days, that I'm trying to simplify it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to take away your repertoire of shots,
Right.
but I want you to be more consistent, especially on the easier shots.
I think I've taken the shots past beyond the simplicity, and I need the simplicity back.
Yeah.
There is a lot of body problems. You know, I've got bad disc in the lower back, I've bad disc in my neck. I've got a rotator cuff problem. I've got a knee problem and also a feet problem.
Sure.
But all these things have, over the years, I think, have helped push me into bad habits. But I don't think I can get back into the good habits. I do believe I can. So, you know, it's just a matter of working on it.
And you play in a lot of men's club events, and you play in a lot of tournaments. Do you think that your body wears out before 18 holes, or do you get a full 18 holes in before you can feel your body starting to
Oh, I'm wore out before the 18 holes is up. You know, I've told people, you know, all the time as a joke, I can play 14 holes with anybody in the world. You know, but you know, of course, that's just funny.
Sure.
But the actual, the truth of the matter would be that at probably about around the 9-hole period, you start feeling the fatigue. You feel like you're fighting your body to make the golf swings and the turns. You know, that upright swing takes a lot of toll on me, even though it's a bad habit. Such it takes a lot of toll when trying to emulate that, because it's just not the proper way, and it's just fighting to make the muscles smaller.
And I feel like that swing is really inefficient. It's causing you to work harder and obviously you talking about putting more stress on your body with that.
Yeah.
But I think that the proper swing will take a little bit less stress off your lower body, hopefully off of your shoulders and off of your wrists. But then from there, we're talking about completing an 18-hole round with this physical exercise. How much do you think that you would be able to dedicate to practice? You know, are you able to practice for an hour? Are you able to practice for 2 hours? Or can you put a limit on how many golf balls you can hit? What would you say you
It would be a limit on golf balls. A good practice for me would probably be a good productive amount of practice. And I'm talking about productive, not getting into where you're just banging balls. You know how I feel about that. I don't like to be see people banging balls. I can probably get a good 30, 35 minutes of productive practice. And then the other 30 minutes I apply to, you know, maybe a ball flight, you know, changing up a ball flight or whatever, working on a position, you know, a hand position or a body turn or something. But as far as like productive practice, it's probably my body's only going to allow about 30, you know, 35, 40 minutes maybe. If I were to get a good hour out of it, it'd be surprising. But that's a rapid, you know, like rapid swing. Even setting up properly and, you know, lining balls up and then going up and hitting your ball, it's still a rapid fire practice. And it's hard to pace yourself with, you know, with the aches and pain. You know, you almost have to keep everything limber and loose as you can and approach each shot with the best, you know, with the best approach that you can muster up.
Well, we've got a couple more lessons left to do, and I'll try to keep that in mind as far as the quality and quantity of practice that you're able to do.
Sure.
And what we'll try to do, instead of just hitting golf balls only, what we'll try to do is make movements, and we'll obviously use some medicine balls and some resistant bands to try to help you create movements, as opposed to having the harsh impact of swinging a club into the ground, hitting a golf ball. Making better movements will help you become a better golfer, obviously, but also keep the impact on your body lower. You know,
that medicine ball, that little ordeal we were throwing that ball with a lot of stress on my back and a lot of stress on my neck.
Okay.
But it felt, it wasn't a pain versus a stretch, a flexibility problem. So, and I know the difference between an injury, you know, and something that you just haven't activated in a while.
Okay.
And I think that's what that was. It was just that I've got myself in such a bad habit that the proper movement is, you know, kind of knotted up. You know, it's going to take a little bit to get it all stretched back out.
If you don't have any questions about today with the wedge shots that we've hit, and you don't have anything else that you'd like to learn today with a wedge, I'll leave you here to finish practicing up on your own. Okay. And I'll see you in a couple of days, and we'll start to work on full swing wedges and short irons.
Yep.
and we'll start that process in the next couple days.
Sounds good.
Good lesson.
I think it was an extremely good lesson today.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.